You know, I had the opportunity, I've met Paul, I think he's 87, 88 years old and still sharp as a tack. You know, he came into this business, he actually created the entire business. When I say the business, not just Paul Davis, but the industry. But he did so with such integrity, and there are still franchisees today that he recruited and trained himself.
The one thing that's pretty unique about Paul Davis is it's a very democratic organization. Started out that way with Paul because he felt like the franchisees are doing it every day. They're in the business. They know the business better than the franchisor. So we sought to collaborate and find solutions together. And so everything has a vote, right? The franchisees have as much say as the franchisor. In fact, if there's ever a disagreement, everything's done, it's resolved internally through arbitration, and all of the arbiters are franchisees. So the franchisor has no representation on that arbitration panel. So, you know, it's worked fantastic for us since '72, and so we continue with that practice today. The first estimating system that ever existed, you know, through a contractor's network, or even in the insurance community, was created at Paul Davis, and that was a game changer.
In the 90s, our industry took a huge shift. Mold became an overnight word.
You used to come in and you know, suck up water and set some equipment and come back 4, 5, 7, 10 days later, pick it up and it was done.
But we realized that we were not drying structure.
The insurance industry has changed all that, and frankly, we've been at the forefront of it. You know, there's science behind the drying. There's value to that science now with carriers.
We were able to develop what really makes a building dry. We've learned such things as vapor pressure. If I can get the vapor pressure high in the wet materials, get the vapor pressure low in the ambient air, that moisture is going to move. A high is going to move to low, wet's going to move to dry, and it's not a guess. We know how to get measurements of the air, measurements of the equipment, measurements of the materials themselves, and then how to manage that to make that building dry.
Adjusters and contractors used to have disagreements about the scope of work and the pricing of work. So we came up with a computerized estimating system that revolutionized the way that was done. Everything was done time and material, and we went to a unit pricing model, and that is the way it's done today. And it took all of that angst out of the equation. The other thing that we've done is with a lot of our mitigation work, we have newer technology that allows the property owner and the insurer to see how the structure is drying over time. So we can prove that that structure is dry.
You know, it's about trust, right? If we go into a job and we're hired to dry it, that we'll do whatever's necessary, but nothing more, to get the property back into pre-loss condition.
What we did in the early 2000s is we built a flood house.
Oh man, we love this place. This is just, we're so proud of the training center to begin with.
Which was very unique in the industry, and especially in franchise systems, or any organized restoration network back then.
We're able to flood the house. This is as real world as it gets.
So we brought the new technology in, the new process in, and then brought the franchisees in, and they were allowed to go through this process, and we could actually have them do it, and it demonstrated how well this worked. And there again, with our newer technology, we could document the fact that it was pulling the structure down and that it was ready to be delivered back to the property owner in 3 days, which was amazing back then, just amazing.
Every couple of years, the IICRC comes through and has to recertify our facility. And every time we hear, you guys have got the best facility, and we are really, really proud of the facility that we've got here.
So I think the legacy is what makes this brand really, really strong. And that legacy is one of integrity, productivity, and innovation.